I'm single. So over the past year, I've read a lot of romances that made me feel personally attacked because the book boyfriends inside were just so amazing that it encouraged me and motivated me to go out there and to venture out in the world and to meet new people, and hopefully one day I can find one of them. But obviously, Bay has not come yet. I'm still single and I'm still reading romances that make me very emotional and very sad at the same time. So yay! So we're going to start off with a couple of books that made me feel personally attacked, and I'm a victim too because the male characters inside the book are just so amazing and just so sweet that I want them to be my boyfriend in real life. That sounded kind of sad, but anyways, the first book that I have is clearly not in my hand right now because my friend borrowed the book and she still never returned it back to me. This was Christmas. It's July right now. I want my book back, Laura. So the first book I have is obviously The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hong, and everybody and their moms has read The Kiss Quotient. I felt like it blew up all over social media last year, I think, when it came out, and everybody discovered this new debut author because of this book particularly. So a little bit background story of this book, if you don't know anything about it. Our two main characters, Stella and Michael, meet when Stella hires Michael to be her escort. It's because Stella has Asperger's and she's not very comfortable with herself and performing the sexual deed. So she thinks it's a good idea for her to hire Michael so that he can show her the ways in the bedroom, and it gets very hot and very steamy. So do not be misleaded by the cute cartoon cover on the book, because I thought it was just going to be a cute romance, but it turned out to be a smoking hot one. I really liked Michael because, first of all, he was described to look like Daniel Henney.
And who doesn't want that man in their beds?
Because I sure do. After watching Big Hero 6 and hearing Tadashi's voice, I immediately came out of the movie theater and I searched who was the voice actor of Tadashi, because his voice was just so smooth and crisp. But anyways, Daniel Honey, very good looking, and I totally would marry him if he wanted to marry me. So hit me up if you want to. The reason why I liked Michael a lot was because Michael was very attentive and very understanding of Stella's needs. In particular, she's not used to physical touch, she's not used to intimacy, and she's not used to sharing a lot about herself personally and her work life as well. I felt that he was very patient with her. That's a good quality to have in a boyfriend, someone who is willing to put in their time to learn more about you and also put in time to work it out, even though when you're super stubborn and you don't want to change your ways. So the second book that I want to talk about is one of my favorite romantic comedies out here in the publishing world, and it's Can You Keep a Secret by Sophie Kinsella. And I think a lot of people has read a Sophie Kinsella book in their reading careers. Can You Keep a Secret is ultimately one of my favorite romantic comedies ever. There has been nothing that could be able to top this book. I think I reread this book 5 times simply because I just love the story of Emma and our book boyfriend Jack. Emma is described to be an underdog of the story, where she's kind of not being taken seriously by her family and especially in her workplace as well. So her family kind of sees her as being less successful because her cousin in this story is very successful. She's a manager of this really big furniture company, while she is kind of a junior assistant or some junior level in her role, and she has been kind of switching a lot of career paths, so people kind of see her as being fickle as well. The reason why I really like Jack, our book boyfriend, was that he well, he was the CEO of the company. He came from a mysterious background where he's an American, and he had to fly all the way over to the UK branch to take care of the UK branch and to see if sales were driving up as much as in the United States. And Jack and Emma meet on a plane where Emma is freaking out because she hates flying and there was turbulence, and she ends up spilling all her secrets to Jack. And Jack was very understanding in the novel as well. He was very patient with Emma, and he was also very supportive of her, because I felt like that nobody really saw Emma's like true like good traits. Even herself, like she never saw herself as being particularly very smart or creative, or she was worthy of like the attention that was given to her in the end. And what Jack did was that he would always kind of boost her confidence and tell her that, you know what, like your idea was actually really brilliant and it could be a game changer. Your opinion of this marketing campaign really changed everything about it, and I totally agree with you and your creative strategies. And it gave her the confidence for her to speak up for herself, and also to speak up about reoccurring issues with her family, and how she doesn't feel she's being appreciated, and how she's always seems like she's being pushed off to the side even though it's her parents. So the next book that I have is Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. This is my first Tessa Bailey book, and I loved it. It's not going to be definitely my last Tessa Bailey book. I already have a lot of Tessa Bailey books saved up on my e-reader so that I could read. So our book boyfriend is Travis, and Travis was an ex-professional baseball player. He had an injury that kind of like put him out of the game, and he can't play professionally anymore. And he returns back to his small hometown. And this is a particular issue for Travis because he came from a very abusive background with his father, and his father would always tell him how he's never good enough and how he would always fail, and he would probably come back to the small town anyways. So when he does come back, he kind of feels like he is a failure because everybody looks at him as to be the star of the town, but how could he be the star if he's no longer playing what he's good at? And plus he loves the sport so much. Our female character Georgie is the little sister of his best friend. So Travis was always kind of like an older brother figure for Georgie, and he always took care of her, and he understood her a lot too because he grew up with her and he knew her quirk, and he knew her quirks, and he knew like a lot of little fun facts about her and knew what she liked and what she didn't like as well. I like Travis because he was always supportive, once again, very supportive of her and her endeavors. So Georgie is a entertainment clown, so she just goes to a lot of kids parties and pretends to be a clown and brings joy and laughter to children. And Travis was very supportive of that career, even though it's kind of like uncommon and it's kind of zany, but Travis didn't turn her down, or Travis didn't make fun of her when she said that she has ideas to grow the business and to make a bigger company than she is right now, because she just loves doing what she does. And Travis never discouraged her or made her feel like that her career wasn't enough, and always made her feel like that her career means something and that she can take it to next levels if she wanted to. So the next book that I have is The Friendzone by Abby Jimenez, and sorry if I pronounced her last name incorrectly. I never did a full review of this book yet on Goodreads and on my vlog
because I'm a mess with reviews right now.
But basically, I loved this book up until the ending. I almost gave it a 4 or 5 out of 5 stars. So it just really like annoyed me a lot when the ending particularly didn't sit right with me, and I had to give it a 2 out of 5 stars. It had nothing to do with her book boyfriend, who was Josh, and Josh is a firefighter. And if you're new to this channel and if you're new to me,
I love a man in uniform, and I love firefighters in
particular, so Josh already won a lot of points with me. So basically Josh is hired as a carpenter for Kristen, and Kristen has her own booming business where she kind of makes stairs for little dogs, if I remember correctly. And Josh is smitten with Kristen from the very beginning. It was kind of like insta love, but we're gonna get over that fact. And Josh knew that Kristen was in a relationship at that time, and he knew that he couldn't like vocalize his feelings for her, and he couldn't like do like any physical like touching or physical like intimacy with her, because that would be clearly cheating and that would not sit well with anyone. And he decided to become her best friend instead. And I loved it. Like, I loved a friendship to lovers romance like this, because he kind of understood all her quirks once again, understood what she wanted and needed on a daily basis. And of course, when Kristen, so if everybody doesn't know, Kristen deals with a lot of lady female problem issues, where she suffers very long periods, or she suffers very painful periods. And he wasn't grossed out at all about it. He completely understood it, and he was like, I'm down to go to the pharmacy to get you whatever you need. Just tell me which
Style you like and I'll get it for you. And I was like, wow, that's like impressive already.
The thing I didn't like about him was that he kind of had this like weird like moments where he would kind of put her up on a pedestal and then like kind of like just poop out on all the girls. Like, he would say like she's not like other girls, and I'm just like, that's not attractive. Like, don't say that, because like it doesn't sit well with romance readers like me. But anyways, love Josh, hated the ending, and Kristen was a great person too as well, just didn't like where the ending took. So the last book that we have is my favorite Christina Lauren book, and it's Love and Other Words. Christina Lauren writes a lot of romantic comedies and also women's fiction now. They kind of branched out from writing erotic fiction into contemporary fiction. I love this book because it was a friends to lover romance once again, and this was like a true friends to lover romance. Like, it was when they were children and they met in like this summer house, and they would just sit together and get to know each other as children, and then develop their feelings with each other as well. Sit together, and they would read together. Like, who does that? Like, that's something that I need in my life. Like, that's the energy that I'm looking for in a male partnership. I want my boyfriend to just sit with me and read, and like we just sit together on a couch or somewhere, and then we just read different books, and then we kind of go like, okay, we're done with our book now, we could put it down. So anyways, Elliot, I loved him a lot because he was very forgiving of Macy. Like, Macy was kind of like a dick in this book because she would always run away from her problems she would always run away from her problems, if I remember correctly. Like, she never stood and fought for them both. Like, she just kind of like, okay, like, this is too much for me, like, I can't handle this, like, I'm not this person. And then she'll just like run off, and then he would kind of like always come back and chase her and be like, no, we need to like talk this out. Like, we need to fight for what we have, you know, we need to fight for what we lost. About that in that relationship, because I feel like there are a lot of people in this world where they don't feel like that it's worth fighting for, or they're too afraid to fight for what they want. And you always need someone that is ready to tell you like, hey, get your shit together, because we're gonna make this work. And I love that about this book, and it was super cute. It's very chunky, and I know a couple of my friends didn't really like this one aspect in this story, but I kind of just like, it just went over my head. So this is what makes me feel super alone. It makes me want to sign up for dating apps and to see if I can find someone like that. I'll keep you guys updated if I do, but right now, currently, no, I have not found that one person yet. Very sad. But if you're like me, and if you're single and you want something to get you over that feeling of, read these books, because I do, and I feel so good, and I also feel so bad at the same time. So self-care. So anyways, thank you for watching my video, and subscribe down below if you want more mean humor and mediocre content. Can't let you go. I can't let you go.